The story opens with our main character, Haruka Nozaki, opening her school locker only to find it filled with dirt and dust. She's then approached by a classmate, Mitsuru Iba, who's both good-looking and sharp, and he asks if she's waiting for someone. She says yes, and he says goodbye and heads off. Later, on her way home, Nozaki is bullied by a group of classmates. They've stolen her shoes from her locker and tossed them into a mud-filled pit, mocking her the whole time. She climbs down into the pit to retrieve them, but slips and ends up completely covered in mud. As she grabs her shoes, the girls start scattering the rest of her belongings from her bag across the ground. One of them, Tachibana, claims they're doing this because Nozaki toyed with another girl's feelings, but that girl, Tao, denies having anything to do with Iba. Nozaki quietly gathers her things and heads home in silence. When she gets home, her little sister, Shuko, bursts into tears seeing her in such a state, and their parents join in for a family hug. The next day, Nozaki's father goes to the school to report the bullying, speaking directly with a teacher, Miss Minami, but she brushes off the complaint, instead suggesting Nozaki simply stay home until graduation. Later, back in her classroom, Nozaki finds the same 3 girls scratching something into her desk, and they throw sawdust in her face. Meanwhile, on his way back from the meeting with Minami, Nozaki's father is attacked by a classmate named Kuga who knocks him down a flight of stairs. During class, while Miss Minami is teaching, blood starts dripping onto Nozaki's desk from a dead crow that's been placed in front of her. Tao attempts to call Minami to alert her, but the call goes ignored. Iba and Kuga exchange a tense stare down. Around the same time, Tao writes something on a piece of paper and passes it forward, but it ends up hitting Minami directly. Minami panics, rushes out of the room, and throws up, giving the class an opportunity to mock her. That evening, Nozaki arrives home to find her father injured. He tells her she doesn't have to keep going to school if she's afraid or being targeted, adding that they only moved to this town for his job and that protecting his family is his responsibility. The next morning, Nozaki wakes up with a fever and her mother suggests she stay home and rest. Her sister checks on her, and upon learning she's fine, Shuko happily dances and jumps around the room. Back at school, the group of girls are talking about Nozaki and decide to send someone to check whether she's really okay. They rope in a classmate named Rumi, forcing her to go to Nozaki's house and pressure her into returning to class, threatening that she'll become their next target if she fails. Rumi goes to the house and finds Nozaki resting in bed. She sits on the floor and asks if she's alright. When Nozaki tells her she won't be returning before graduation, Rumi snaps, warning her that if she doesn't come back, the group will torment her even worse. She then takes some photos of Nozaki and asks for a music CD as proof she actually visited. The next day, with Nozaki still absent, Rumi ends up shoved inside a cupboard in the classroom where the group, including Tao, begins tormenting her instead. Meanwhile, we see Nozaki and her sister happily walking along a forest road where they run into Iba out taking photographs. He's delighted to see them and snaps a picture of the 2 sisters together, mentioning it's the first time he's ever photographed another person. Back at school, Rumi is having her hair randomly cut by Tao, who asks if she hates Nozaki. Rumi answers that she wants to kill her. The next day, Nozaki shows Iba the photo he took and she loves it. We see him waiting outside her house and she waves goodbye to her family before heading out with him. The 2 of them spend the whole day wandering along the riverside, taking photos and enjoying each other's company. Iba mentions that the city will look even more beautiful once it snows and accidentally brushes her hand. He apologizes, but she tells him it's fine, so he deliberately takes her hand again, and she just smiles. As they head home that night, they spot the group of bullies walking past, eyeing Nozaki's house. Then, from a distance, Nozaki notices her house is on fire. She rushes toward it, finding a crowd already gathered, and tries to run inside, but Iba and bystanders hold her back. She sobs in terror and grief. Iba then dashes into the burning house and pulls out her little sister, severely burned but still breathing. She's rushed to the hospital by ambulance. Both of Nozaki's parents appear to have died in the fire. We then cut to the hospital where Nozaki's grandfather comes to see her as she waits outside the ICU where her sister is being treated. She's now living with her grandfather. Back at school, the group of bullies grow anxious, fearing what will happen if anyone learns they started the fire. The 2 girls in particular are horrified, struggling to accept that they've burned people alive, though some in the group show no remorse at all for what they've done. In the next scene, at Tao's house, her father tells her she'll do exactly as he says and that he'll decide her future for her. Tao mentions she wants to become a beautician, but he dismisses the idea entirely and leaves the house without saying when he'll return. The next day, everyone is surprised to see Nozaki show up at school. Iba tells her she shouldn't force herself to attend if she's not ready. Inside the classroom, when she tries asking the 2 girls something, they both rush outside. Tachibana and the two girls end up walking with Nozaki to the very same pit where she used to be bullied. The other two try to stop Tachibana, but she stabs Nozaki with a pin, knocking her into the pit, and admits that they were the ones who set the fire to her house. When Tachibana comes at her with a knife, she's struck by a nail and Nozaki ends up beating her to death. The other two girls try to flee and beg forgiveness, but Nozaki shows no mercy and kills them both as well. Before dying, one of them reveals that the entire plan to set the fire was orchestrated by Kuga. The next day at school, with 3 of the girls now missing, Kuga and his remaining friends grow increasingly nervous, especially once they spot police officers outside the building. Panicking, Kuga decides to head home since the weather has turned bitterly cold. On the way, he runs into Nozaki and tries to bully her again. When he shoves her, she stabs him. He tries to flee but stumbles down a slope and is badly hurt. Nozaki leaves him there to die in the cold. The next day, due to heavy snowfall, her grandfather tells her that school will be closed and she can rest. Iba comes by to visit. Her grandfather mentions plans to move both girls back to Tokyo once Nozaki graduates and asks Iba to look after and protect her in the meantime. At Rumi's house, she gets a call from 2 of the boys, informing her that 3 of the girls, including Kuga, are missing and that Nozaki is apparently responsible for killing them all and is now coming after her. He warns her to act first, saying they intend to finish her off the following day. The next morning, Nozaki is out walking alone through the woods when she pauses to admire a liverleaf flower in bloom. That's when the 2 remaining guys ambush her, underestimating her and splitting up to hunt her down separately. One of them, Awa, finds her first and knocks her to the ground. He tells her he really likes her and tries to kiss her, but she refuses. When he tries to force it, she stabs him with a pair of pliers. From a distance, the other boy fires an arrow at Nozaki but misses, striking Awa straight through the head and killing him instead. When he then comes at her himself, she stabs and kills him too. The next scene shows the parents of the 3 missing girls at the school demanding answers. The following day, Iba visits Nozaki again, and the 2 go for a walk, returning to the exact spot where he once said the city would look beautiful covered in snow. There, they share their first kiss, and Iba promises to protect her. He later tells her grandmother that he wants to move to Tokyo for further schooling so he can live near Nozaki since she has no one else to rely on. We then cut to Rumi, standing near the pit where Nozaki used to be bullied. She climbs down and discovers the bodies of the 3 dead girls, and she's absolutely terrified. She tries calling Tao to tell her what she's found, but Tao doesn't pick up. We flash back to an earlier moment where Rumi had said she wanted to kill Nozaki, specifically by burning her alive with kerosene. Sure enough, we see Rumi now carrying a can of kerosene heading straight for Nozaki's house. Tao decides to turn back home instead while the others continue on. In the next scene, Tao arrives at Nozaki's house to visit but finds nobody home and starts to head back. On the way, she runs into Nozaki and stops to talk. She returns the music CD that Rumi had once collected from her and mentions she's been listening to it non-stop. We're shown footage of their past, revealing that Tao and Nozaki used to be close friends until Nozaki grew closer to Iba and their friendship fell apart. Just as Tao is about to leave, she apologizes to Nozaki for everything she's done. On her way home, she's ambushed by Rumi with a knife. Rumi manages to wound her leg and takes pleasure in her screaming, then moves in to finish her off, but Tao kicks her away and manages to slash her face. Even so, Rumi stabs her in the chest and flees the scene. Next, Iba calls Nozaki to let her know he'll be joining her in Tokyo so they can live together. She tells him she's actually decided to stay behind instead. We then see blood on Iba's hand and he reacts to her refusal with visible rage, slamming down the phone before storming off to confront his grandmother, whom he's severely injured. It's revealed that he attacked her specifically so he could be with Nozaki, and it's further revealed that he's also killed both of his own parents. It becomes clear that Iba himself was abused by his father as a child. He leaves his grandmother lying on the floor to die. Back at Rumi's house, her mother asks what's happened since Rumi seems shaken. Rumi simply stabs at the door and begs her mother not to be so kind to her. Meanwhile, the parents of the missing students gather at the school demanding information. Miss Minami arrives and the grieving parents turn on her, hurling insults. Overwhelmed by memories of being bullied herself day after day, Minami breaks down, vomits again, and collapses in the road where she's fatally crushed by a passing snow removal machine. At the hospital, Rumi is caught trying to set Shuko on fire. Nozaki arrives just in time and attacks her. When Rumi warns her not to kill anyone in front of her little sister, Nozaki lets her go and Rumi flees. While Nozaki is talking with Iba, a nurse rushes over to tell her that her grandfather has been badly hurt and is at the hospital. Growing suspicious of Iba, she grabs his hands to check them and her fears are confirmed, they're covered in blood. He claims the injury came from trying to convince her grandmother the night before. Rumi then reappears and reveals the full truth about how she and the others set the fire to Nozaki's house, admitting that they burned her mother alive right outside. Rumi says she loved the smell of the fire. When Nozaki's father had rushed out to help, one of the boys shot him in the leg, and Rumi then poured kerosene over both him and Shuko, setting them ablaze despite others trying to stop her. Hearing all this, Nozaki lunges at Rumi but gets stabbed in return. Iba then violently attacks Rumi and in the chaos throws his bag toward Nozaki. Inside it, she finds a photograph, one Iba had taken of her father and sister burning alive, snapped before he ever ran in to save Shuko. Furious and devastated, Nozaki confronts him, and Iba tries to explain that he only took the picture because he found the moment fascinating. She pulls the knife out of her own stomach and attacks him. Enraged, he starts punching her in the face, then suddenly grabs his camera to photograph her bloodied expression. Noticing a liverleaf flower blooming nearby, he starts photographing that instead and tells Nozaki that if she promises to stay with him, he'll spare her, otherwise he'll simply leave her to freeze to death. Nozaki grabs the bow and arrow she'd taken from the boy she killed earlier and fires it straight through his camera and into Iba's eye, killing him instantly. Afterward, badly wounded, she begins making her way home. She takes out the necklace her sister once gave her, looks at it one last time, and collapses in the road. In the final scene, we see Tao receiving her graduation certificate. She walks toward the empty classroom, quietly remembering the friendship she and Nozaki once shared.